The one that I think is most useful is the lack of intimacy portion of relationships, because that's like the first thing that is the spark, right? That like feeling of, oh my God, I can't get enough of this person. Everything they do is so wonderful. Kissing is great. Like everything is so just passionate, and the longer you're with someone, like there's not the same level of passion and spontaneity. Like it becomes deeper than that, or it takes more work. And so giving people the intimacy they're looking for is a lot more complicated than just being like, oh, maybe try this position or get a vibrator, or like, there's so many things that you can be like, which sometimes, is a simple fix for people. I had a couple who, the female, both of them just had, like, they loved each other but had really not great sex together. The female had never had an orgasm. She said it hurt while they were having intercourse. And so we just started like picking all these layers. And, one of them was that they didn't have intercourse because the dog slept in the room. And I was like, kick the dog. Like some of them are very like simple ways of just being like, okay, it's time for the dog to go then, because this is important. And I talked to them about different toys and techniques that they could use, and the trust system, which is basically discussing like days and times that are good for them to have intimacy and intercourse, and planning your day around that fact. So you're mentally preparing yourself to share these moments with your partner. So there's a lot of different like small, easy steps you can take, and it's more about like the complexity of the relationship, I think, because when you add kids and you add jobs and you add, extended family, then things become a lot more complicated, because of how do you manage, right? How do you make space for you and your partner amidst all of these moving parts? The client I was talking about earlier, I remember we had a session, she was like, I figured it out. I had an orgasm, like I think we're okay now. And they like went on their merry way, and I was like, awesome, great for them, like it was super easy. But I think for other people, like you were saying, if it isn't just this wonderful starting place where both people have baggage, or both people have emotional weaknesses, or an ability to even want to develop it because it is hard. And then you're looking at, it's a lot about switching the tape from how do I avoid the situation, avoid the problem, and still get what I want. And it turns it into how do we both get what we want, and what is it that they're looking for, and how can I help them out instead of making it like me, 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 me. And that's hard for anyone, because like we all want to get what we want to get out of life. Some couples I've spoken to, they came to me because the husband wanted more sex. And then the deeper you go, it's not really about the sex itself, but it's more about like being appreciated for all of the things that he does. And he wants to feel that appreciation physically from his wife.
I can imagine, I'm just like personally speaking, like when I found out that stuff matters to me, and that I was okay actually admitting that, my wife generally having a good time with me and liking hanging out with me made a huge difference in my sex life. Like what I learned originally was it doesn't matter. You perform, you do what you're supposed to do, you have, you get what you want out of it, and it's supposed to be great. And it's like
yeah.
In the long haul, it just doesn't fucking work.
That doesn't, exactly. Like, it works if you're just like in a short-term relationship, but long-term, like, you can't just get what you want and call it a day. Because, like, there's two people, or maybe there's more people. Like, I don't know. But traditionally speaking, when there's two people, it can't just be about getting what you want and getting out, because it's almost like you'd be missing out, like you really would be missing out. And it's usually the female that wants more, right? Like wants emotional connection or wants some deeper meaning to sex. But I think men do too. It's almost like they don't know how to ask for it, or they feel like that their main job is to perform.